traders and investors, welcome back to the Trend Trader channel. We're going to be looking at a couple of stocks that we are interested in buying. But before we proceed, I would like to ask you to go to our channel. Well, you're already in our channel. I would like to ask you that you hit the subscribe button and then you hit the bell notification so that you don't miss any videos that we'll be uploading in future. Just make sure that you click subscribe, and then if you scroll in our YouTube channel, you will see that we have plenty of videos covering different markets. We have videos where we're looking at cryptocurrencies, videos where we're covering ETFs, and we also do different kinds of stock analysis. We also have a video on how to become a trader in South Africa. So just make sure that you click the subscribe button, and then you scroll through the YouTube channel to see if there's a video that might interest you. Okay, so make sure that you subscribe. So today we're just going to be looking at two companies. I will touch brief what these companies do before we look at the chart of each company. So the first company that I want us to look at is Afrimat. Afrimat is a bulk commodity trader. They trade different commodities. They are in construction materials, industrial materials. They also have other bulk commodities such as iron ore, anthracite, and manganese. And they have some contracting services. So it's a bit of a diversified company. So as you know that we don't really cover a lot of this, but this is just to give you an idea of what Afrimat is doing. So in the construction materials, they have aggregates, ready-mix concrete. They also produce bricks and blocks, lime, road lime, silica, different kinds of construction materials. And then in industrial materials, they have agricultural lime, animal hygiene lime. They still have a dolomite, as they have dolomite under construction material, and hydrated lime. And then the bulk commodities, they are iron ore producers. Some people have interest in iron ore. Either you can buy a Kumba iron ore, or you can also consider Afrimat. They also have anthracite and manganese, and then for contracting services, it's drilling and blasting, and then screening of these commodities. And they also bid, they do bids. I guess this is for government contracts. So this is now have given you an idea of what Afrimat is all about. So looking at the recent results that were published on the 4th of November, how does this company perform? So I'm just going to highlight the things that interest me a lot. So the operating profit of the company increased by 65%, which is a good set of results. So it increased to about 582 million. And also the headline earnings per share is up by 60.5%. So the earnings per share is up by, it increased to R2.95. So that's an impressive result there, up by over 50%. And also, as you can see, that operating profit margin is up by 24%. And then the net cash flow is 0.8 billion. So as they say, this represents a strong balance sheet with the net cash position there. And for those that are hunting for dividends, they declared an interim dividend of 40 cents. So this dividend will be paid sometime this year. And these are the results for the interim period that ended on the 31st of August 2021. Okay, let's see what else that they are saying from this result. I just want to see if they say when this dividend is going to be paid. Okay, no, they just said that they declared a gross dividend of 40 cents per share for this period. Keep in mind that this is a gross dividend, so you have to subtract that 20% dividend withholding tax, and then you will see the net dividend that you can expect to be paid as a shareholder. Okay, so let's see. Okay, so that's just round about it. So the focal point here is the increase in operating profit and the increase in headline earnings per share. And also we note that they declared a dividend there. And then there's increase in operating profit. So these are good set of results. So now that you have an idea what this company has in store for us, we can then now look at Afrimat chart. So what you're looking at here, Afrimat has been on an uptrend. As we can see here, they've been paying dividends for the past 4 reporting periods, which is good. And then we saw that around June, Afrimat broke above this level, going all the way to trade up to about 63 Rand per share. That was before the share started to retrace back to the 200-day exponential moving average. And then we're anticipating that it's going to find support at this previous breakout level there. So this is what we've seen so far. We saw that Afrimat found support here. So now it's been attempting to trade above this support level. The first attempt, it failed. As you can see that it came back and traded lower this level. And then we had the recent attempt here, then again, somewhere in November. So last week on Friday, the share price closed above this level. So now what you see here is that there is several attempts to break above this breakout level, and that is good because it shows that the share price wants to continue to move up, and then being supported by those good results, you can expect Afrimat to continue to push, and then at least to reach these previous high levels of about 63 Rand per share. So we are going to enter our position here and then set our stop level just below this previous lows there. So that's the trade that we're looking. So this is our target that we're looking at. We are targeting this price. That's about 14 Rand per share. And our risk is just below 8 Rand per share. So that is how we'll be trading this Afrimat stock. But also, as we showed that this is a good company that is producing good result. So you can either have it as a swing trade, or you can hold it as a long-term position. You can see that it's a good dividend payer. So it's a kind of a stock that you would want to have in your portfolio. So yeah, that's the reason for buying Afrimat. Now let's look at the other company that I want us to talk about. So the second company that I want to cover today is Curro. We all know that Curro is in the private schooling, or it's a private school company. The other private school company that we covered in one of the videos was AdvTech. We have a video here. Just make sure that you go and watch that video and see why we said that we are buying AdvTech. Just want to highlight. So this is the video. Let's see. So this is the video that I'm talking about, where we covered AdvTech. We covered it 3 weeks ago, and so far we've made some profit from this following this analysis. So make sure that you go and watch that video. Okay. So back to Curro. Curro, it's a high quality education that you can get from the comfort of your home. Well, kids are going back to school now, but it's still a high quality education that they offer. We know that they have private schools. It's different kinds of school models. They have Curro schools, Curro Academy, and Meridian schools, and also other different kinds of schools, of schooling that they offer there. But then again, I want us to go back and focus on their presentation. This is the presentation of their financial of their final result for the previous reporting year, 2020. So why we're looking at Curro? As a parent, you want affordable quality education for your kids. And then as an investor, they say that the company has shown significant business growth in the past decade. Well, I've started to have an interest in Curro back in 2016. So I partly agree with the statement. They've been good years and bad years, but it's also a trusted brand that is still providing a track record of academic excellence. And been growing their portfolio of schools, which I think it's the reason why they had several challenges in terms of profitability. Because everywhere you go, if you live near development areas, you will just see a lot of Curro schools mushrooming as they build new developments, right? So, okay, they offer a very holistic curriculum, sports and culture, but also from a business perspective, it's a strong, predictable business. We know that parents want to give their kids the best education that they can afford, and also it's a high cash generation or cash generating business, right? So these are just some of the things that you have to keep in mind of why Curro exists as a business. But now I want us to look at the financials of this business, because that is what I'm interested in. So these are the highlights for the 6 months that ended on the 30th of June 2021. What I want to focus on is the revenue. As I said, that it's a high cash generating business. We see that money that came into the business increased by 12% from 1.5 billion to about 1.8 billion. And then cash that is generated from operating activities, it increased by 48% to about $500 million. However, the headline earnings per share for the business are down by 50% from 38 cents to about 19.4 cents. So these are not good results, but as we know that this report the result up to the 30th of June, and before that the result for the year that ended in December 2020, they cited COVID-19 related challenges. So that's the theme for most businesses. They've had several challenges due to COVID-19. So I believe that that explains why the earnings before interest, deductions and amortization, not deductions. Yeah, so it's earnings before tax and amortization is also down by 16% from 466 million to 390 million. So the D is for depreciation, not deductions. Okay, so we see that the schools, they still continue to bring in some cash there. Okay, the schools are growing in terms of numbers and they continue to generate revenue. But if you look at the numbers from 2011 to 2020, the revenue grew from 166 million all the way to about 3 billion. But for the previous 6 months, the first 6 months, the result were 1.5 billion, and then now that was about 1.8 billion. Let me do a quick math and see what did this add into. So I'm just going to round off these numbers. So the revenue grew to about 3.4 billion. So that's an increase from the previous reporting period. So these are good sets of results if you look at them from a revenue perspective. The picture starts to dim if you look at it from the headlines earnings per share. Okay, so now that we have looked at this, we see that the financials are okay. We are happy with some of the fundamentals. The only fundamental that I'm not happy with is the headline earnings per share. So now let's look at Curro chart there. Let's see. Okay. So the company is called Curro Holdings. So this stock for the previous year, it's been one of those stocks that kept people waiting. As you see, I had highlighted the previous swing highs here because I've had an interest for a while from this company. I first had an interest when it broke above this level. This was somewhere around November 2020, but that move failed because we saw Curro, it then came back to start to trade below this level again. But something to keep in mind is that it never traded below 10 Rand per share after it attempted to break above this level. Even the second attempt that you saw somewhere around February 2021, although it failed, it never broke below this level. And then from March upwards, so Curro has been trading above this level, although it has been moving sideways for a long time. So if you've been holding Curro, you wouldn't have made money, but also you wouldn't have lost money. You're just going to be depressed a bit because the company wasn't going anywhere. So last week we started to see Curro breaking above this level, so which is interesting. Now it shows that Curro is ready to move. So let me clear the other things. Again, it has been trading in this range for a while, for over 6 months, and then it attempted to break above this level. So what we're expecting is that Curro is going to break above this level, come back and retest it. So we're looking for that retest there. Once it rejects the lower prices and then starts to trade high, then we will be interested in Curro, because that would be a confirmation that it's ready to move up. And if it moves up, then we are targeting the previous high of somewhere between 21 Rand and 22 Rand per share. That is scenario number one. Scenario number two is that Curro is just going to break above this level, maybe consolidate somewhere in the middle, but then continue to push all the way up to 21 Rand and 23 Rand per share. So that's the strategy that we are looking at. Either we're already seeing this breakout, we'll see how the market will react to this breakout today. It's either the market is just going to push straight to this level, which is scenario number two, or the first scenario where it's going to break out, come back, retest, then reject the lower prices, and then continue to trade high. So yeah, that is how we are going to play Curro in terms of technical analysis. But as you saw that we touched both the fundamental aspect, or at least the financials of Curro, of why we love Curro as a business. And then also we look at the chart so that we find an ideal spot for buying this. Okay, what is missing from this trade, what I didn't cover? We want to buy somewhere near this level and then have our stop just below this level, slightly above 10 Rand per share. And then, like I said, we are targeting 21 Rand to 22 Rand. So in terms of risk to reward, we are looking at a risk to reward of about 1:3. And those are the kinds of trades that I want to take. As I always say, the juice must always be worth the squeeze. We don't want to take uncalculated risks and risks that are not worth it. So every time you place a trade, always practice caution. So that's it for today. Again, if you enjoyed this analysis, make sure that you click subscribe there and you hit the bell notification so that you don't miss any of the videos that you cover there. And then also there's another channel. If you are a dividend investor, you can check this channel there. We also have some videos in there. As you can see, we are covering dividends. You can subscribe to the channel as well and then watch those videos. Okay, we will see you on the next analysis.